Today we're going to be taking a decimal divided by a decimal. It's very similar to what we did yesterday when we took a whole number divided by a decimal. Step one, we still have to move the decimal out of the divisor because you're not allowed to have any decimal points in your divisor. Remember, that's the number you're dividing by. Step two, I'm going to move the decimal the same number of places in the dividend. And some of the times today we're going to have to add zeros, and some of the times you probably won't have to. Yesterday when we had the whole numbers, we were adding zeros every time. So let's start with the problem that would be nice and easy for you to understand. How many quarters are there in $6.75? So I'm taking my 6.75 and I'm dividing by 0.25 because this is $6.75 and this is a quarter. Step one, move that decimal out of the divisor. So I had to move it over 2 spots. That decimal point's not there anymore. So I'm going to take this one and move it 2 spots. There's my new decimal point. I think I'm just going to go ahead at the beginning and put it up there so I don't forget it. How many 25s in 6? There's not any. 0 times 25 is 0. 6 minus 0, I get 6. Bring down my 7. How many 25s in 67? Remember, these are really just quarters, so we're counting that way. 25, 50, 75. 75 would be too much, so there's only 2 of them. 2 times 25 is 50. When I subtract, I'm at 17. Bring down this 5. How many 25s in 175? 25, 50, 75, a dollar, $1.25, $1.50, $1.75. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and it comes out perfectly. When I subtract, there's nothing left over. So this answer, since I have that decimal point there, really just means that how many quarters would I have in $6.75? 27. If you don't believe it, you could take your 27 times 0.25, just to double check real fast. 5 times 7 is 35, carry my 3. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. Marco, Polo, 2 times 7, 14. 2 times 2, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Add them up. There's my 5, a 7, and a 6. And I moved over 2 spots with my decimal. 2 spots with my decimal. $6.75. Keeping in the idea of money, how many nickels in $2.40? Going to be the same kind of problem. Move my decimal point over 2 spots first to get it out of the dividend. So I'm going to take this one, move it over 2 spots. It's now behind the 0. And I'm going to bring it straight up. How many 5s in 2? None of them. How many 5s in 24? 4. 4 times 5 is 20. When I subtract, I get 4. Bring down my 0. How many 5s in 40? 8 of them. 8 times 5 is 40. Nothing left, nothing to add, nothing to bring down. So how many nickels in $2.40? 48 of them. What happens if it's not really money? I still do the same exact kind of thing. Get rid of the decimal point in my divisor. So I moved it over 2 spots. I'm going to take this one, I have to move it over 1, 2. Uh-oh. We left an empty space there. So now what do I need to add after the 2? A 0. So my new problem is really 720 divided by 12. So how many 12s in 7? None. How many 12s in 72? Since I don't like to count by 12s, I'm going back and kind of pretend this is 11. So how many 11s in 72? 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. I'm going to try the 6 out just to see if it works okay. Oh yeah, exactly 72. So 6 of them, and I get 72. I'm not finished with the problem yet though, because I have this number that does not have anything above it. So when I bring this 0 down, how many 12s in 0? None of them. And I know that looks like a wasted step, but it just changed my answer from 6 to 60. Big difference. Try one more, then I'm going to give you some to try out. You can kind of do this one with me. Give you time to write down 1.43 divided by 1.1. You got to write fast. First step, get rid of that decimal point. So he's now over here. So I moved him one place to the right. So I'm going to move it one place to the right there. So now I'm really at 14.3 divided by 11. How many 11s in 1? 0. 0 times 11. 0. Subtract. Bring down. How many 11s in 14? 1. 1 times 11. 11. 14 minus 11. 3. Bring down my 3. How many 11s in 33? 3 of them. 3 times 11 is 33. And I come out and there's nothing left over. Some people are probably sitting out there going, wait, why can we move this decimal point and it's okay? Doesn't that change everything that's going on? And I almost forgot to put my decimal point in that answer, didn't I? 1.3. Here's what we're really doing. We're taking our 1.1, and you see we moved it one place to the right. Well, according to our Delmer dance, we multiplied right, so we really took the 1.1 times 10. So guess what we're really doing over here with the 1.43? We're taking it times 10. And as long as I'm taking both numbers times the same thing, I'm going to get the same answer. So this got changed to 11, and this got changed to 14.3. Next problem. I know Nevaeh doesn't like this because she doesn't eat quarter pounders. The average cow produces 187.5 pounds of ground beef. How many quarter pounders is that? In the audience, we got some people saying that's not enough quarter pounders. Well, the thing is, most people don't take the entire cow and just make ground beef out of it. You're going to take some ribs and some steaks and some roasts out of there. So here we go. I've already set the problem up for you. 187.5 divided by 0.25. Move my decimal 2 places to the right. Move my decimal 2 places to the right. Have to add one of those zeros in there again. How many 25s in 1? Does not go. How many 25s in 18? Still none. That's why it's really important to put the 0 above each number so that you don't get confused. How many 25s in 187? 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175. That would be 7 of them. When I subtract, I've got 12. Bring down this 5. How many 25s in 125? 5 of them. Nothing left, but I do have another 0 to bring down. How many 25s in 0? 0. Now there's nothing left to bring down. Make sure I got my decimal point where it goes. So the average cow would produce 750 quarter pounders. For the next few, I'm going to have the teacher stop the video, and you guys can try it out. Step 1, move that decimal point over. Move the decimal point over. I'm going to go ahead and write it up there so I know where it goes. How many 4s in 1? None. Bring down my 4. How many 4s in 14? 3 of them. Subtract, I got 2. Bring down my other 2. How many 4s in 22? 5. 5 times 4 is 20. When I subtract, I got a 2. Bring down my 8. How many 4s in 28? I know you guys don't like that fact, but 4 times 7 is 28. And there's nothing left, so my answer would be 35.7. Stop the video when you guys try it. Move my decimal over one spot. Move my decimal over one spot. Put it up there. How many 3s in 9? 3 of them. Nothing left. I'm going to bring down my 4. How many 3s in 4? 1. 1 times 3. Got a 1 left. Bring down my 2. How many 3s in 12? 4 of them. And my answer would be 31.4. Stop the video and you try it. Bring the decimal over one spot. Bring the decimal over one spot. Put it up there where it goes. No 5s in 1. How many 5s in 12? 2 of them. 2 times 5 is 10. Bring down my 3. How many 5s in 23? 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Uh-oh, I have a 3 left and there's nothing else up there. Add a 0 because I'm after the decimal point. How many 5s in 30? 6 of them. 6 times 5 is 30. And when I subtract, nothing left, so I end up with 2.46, also said as 2 and 46 hundredths. Stop the video and try this one out. How many nickels in $7.85? 1, 2 when I move the decimal. 1, 2 when I move the decimal. There's 1, 5, and 7. How many 5s in 28? 5 of them. Gets me 25. How many 5s in 35? 7. Don't forget my decimal point. So how many nickels in $7.85? 157. Seems like a really big number, but if you were in here last week when we were counting them up, the money for patience, pennies for patience, it took a lot of nickels to make a lot of money. The cat eats 2.5 ounces of food each day. How long would a 52.5-ounce bag of cat food last? Stop the video and you try it out. Only moving my decimal point one spot. So now, how many 25s in 5? None. How many 25s in 52? 2 of them. How many 25s in 25? 1. So it looks like that bag of cat food would last for 21 days because they read it per day. Stop the video and you try it out. This one looks like some interesting numbers. First, start by moving my decimal points over again, one spot. I don't like to think by 32s at the beginning, so I'm going to be thinking about 30s. So how many 30s in 2? None. How many 30s in 27? Still none. And remember, that is allowed. Now I'm at how many 30s in 275, which is sort of like how many 3s in 27. So I'm going to try a 9 out, because I think that's going to be really close. 9 times 2 is 18. Carry my 1. 27, 28. Ooh, a little bit too much. Let's try an 8. 8 times 32. 16, 24, 25. That looks like that will work. 256. And that was from 8 of them. So my 8 goes there. When I subtract, I'm at 19, which is less than 32, so I'm okay. How many 32s in 192? Remember, I'm really thinking about how many 30s in 192. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. And people go, how can you do it that fast? Because really, it's the 3 song. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So we're going to try out 6 to see if that will work. 6 times 32, 12, 18, 19. It's coming out perfect. So I got a 6 there, and it's 192. And I know I didn't put my decimal in at the beginning, so I need to right now. It's going there. My answer would be 8.6. Last one. Stop the video and try it out. Move my decimal place over one spot. Move my decimal place over one spot. How many 12s in 0? None. How many 12s in 6? Still none. I need to add a 0 on and bring it down. How many 12s in 60? 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. There's going to be 5 of them. It comes out perfectly even. don't forget to put the decimal point in. So 0.6 divided by 1.2 is 0.5. That makes sense because 0.6 is half of 1.2.